there's there's a lot of pressure, and I'm definitely feeling it. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I'm nervous than a motherfucker, um, because of the pressure. When the horror scene came out, it was loved, and it was definitely 1,000% what Ordinary World needed to, you know, step up. The AK album was golden, and Secrets. When it first came out, the first three tracks were good, but then it just got absolutely just ran through. Understandably, of course, because that whole thing was a mess within itself. And um, when Horror Scene came out, everybody was like, yes, another album, it's a full album, not nothing that we haven't heard and stuff that we have heard and live shows. No, it was telling a story, and I think it did that pretty good, you know. Um, it's just halfway through. It it got ran through. People didn't like how dark it was. And if it wasn't how dark it was, then it was, the less amount of music videos. There was always something there afterwards. And I still think it's a good album. I actually love that album. It's a good album. If you're you have to be in a mood for it. It's like a really good October Halloween album. So it's gonna have its season. And when it came to making this album, there was a lot of shit that just kept falling through, and it kept falling through, and it kept, and I felt like it was it. I'm done. Ordinary World's done. Close it up, fucking lock it up, throw away the key. It's just how I felt. And as soon as I was about to give up, like literally, it's kind of poetic, honestly. As soon as I gave up and I was like, I can't fucking do this shit, man. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with Ordinary World. Like, I was literally getting ready to, prepare myself to, make a post, saying that like a video's coming soon, and I was getting ready to make a video, and actually in that video, I'm like, with all the stuff that got leaked, and through all the trials and tribulations, and I paused, and I was like, that's cool. And then I kept talking a little bit, and I was like, I'm just too scatterbrained right now, and it just isn't working, guys. I'm sorry. And then I ended the video, and I deleted it right afterwards, because I'm like, scatterbrained. Trials and Tribulations. Okay, cool. I like that concept. Trials and Tribulations was the first track to be made for Scatterbrained, and that's what the album was going to originally be called, Trials and Tribulations. But I was like, I think Scatterbrained fits more, because at that time I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know which way I wanted Ordinary World to go. I didn't know how I wanted it to sound. I didn't know if I was gonna have every fucking track be a music video. It was just kind of, having to find myself, and, find Ordinary World sound. Because, Ordinary has the AK album, that's a Call of Duty album. Not really a sound, because it's Call of Duty. And then it has Secrets. It has a mix of everything. It's got singles and live shows, and it's got shit from AK, obviously. So it never really had its own thing to build off of, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, well, Horror Scene, that's more of a scary story type talent album, and that was the way I was gonna possibly take it. I was gonna make another darkish album, but that instantly got thrown out because, well, everybody didn't like it. I mean, people liked it, but after a while, it wasn't a hit, but I was thinking, and I was like, you know what? Let me try to do something else, and honestly, and I can say this, and I'm fucking proud to say this too, man. It doesn't sound like Ordinary World. I mean, it does now, but like from the stuff that you've heard before, it has its own mark. It has its own era, and this album, it's also gonna have its own mark and its own era. And I'm gonna be honest, man. I think this album is the best Ordinary World album yet. And the more I listen to it, I'm like, damn. Maybe it did beat AK. It's hard because I love all my albums. I love everything that I work on. I love everything that I do. But there's something about this album. Everything in the past has been dark and it's been like gross and shit, or it's been negative. And then this one, it's kind of taking the negative and making it a positive. You know what I'm saying? It's not really, kicking you when you're down. It's, helping you up. It's building you up. And I think that's the beauty of it. I'm going to say, which I don't think has been said yet. This album did kind of change a little bit. Not nothing that got thrown away. Well, 3 things got thrown away. Just tracks, beats that might be, on a deluxe, but that's no different than any other album that anybody works on. There could be a track that's, on an album, and then, they take it off, replace it with this, and it just sounds better. It's, so I guess that's just normal. That's just music. But maybe something to come out in the future. But another way I was gonna take this album is kind of, controversial. Honestly, I was gonna be like, really talking my shit. Kind of being cocky. With all the hate that I got for Horror Scene and not too many live shows, and singles, I was just gonna kind of call that out, and I never really touched on this, and maybe it's controversial now to even say this a few hours before before the album comes out, but I was gearing up, man. I still don't fully understand the hate that it got. There was a couple of live shows on Ordinary World, but the tracks never got left out because the same tracks that you hear on Ordinary World were always going to feature on the main channel, on my main music channel, your medicine, obviously, you know. You know that was never going to not happen, and it's still going to happen, you know. Like, I'm going to put out more live shows this year though on Ordinary World. You know, I did learn from last year. But then I kind of took it a step back, and I was like, you know what? Maybe there's a reason, and that's why I didn't decide to, say what I was going to say. And what I was going to say is what I just told you right now. Like how I didn't understand why people were mad, but at the same time, I do understand that. And I was like, well, that's fucking stupid. It don't make sense to get pissed. Like, it's constructive criticism, and I didn't look at it like that. And I was like, damn, man. I mean, in a way, they're right, and I sat back and I was thinking. I was like, all right, cool. Let's do something different. And I did something different. I do like the changes that I made, and I know that when the deluxe or a collector edition come out, because I have a feeling they are going to come out. That's how, like, confident I am in this album. They might be there, or they might not, or they might air quote leak. So who knows? But yeah, man, I really am feeling it. If you guys don't already know as well, an exclusive edition only is going to be on YouTube Music. There is 5 extra tracks. There is 1 skit, 4 tracks, 1 you've already heard, 2 unheard. But trust me, you're gonna flip out. Which I know you've already, seen the track listing for it. But when you hear it, and it definitely sounds different from the main part of the album. It's because this side is more like, this side's the more intense, scatterbrain part. The whole premise of the album is, me being scatterbrained, and me trying to, take nothing and turn it into something. It's like I said earlier, it's building yourself up. You're building up from the ground, and when you think that you're beat and you're lost and fuck, your cards are shitty, and there's always gonna be a little bit of luck there, and I like that. And I can't wait to talk about each track individually. But yeah, man, I feel like this version of Scatterbrain is gonna be very good, very great. I also want to shout out a couple people on this album. I want to shout out Ryan Beats. He made Different, and man, that shit. As soon as I heard that, man, it had to be on the album. Intentionally too, because this album's so different, and you go from listening to these beats that, sound alike, but they're not alike. You know what I'm saying? And you get to that beat, and it's like, fuck, this is different. And you're like, fuck, this whole album's different, So I think it's cool. It's really beautiful, man. I know you guys are going to enjoy it. And then I also want to shout out Tyga Haranel. I don't know how to say that last name, but shit, Tyga. After fucking 3 long years, this man has came back into the game, and the only way you can listen to his beats are on the exclusive version of YouTube Music for Scatterbrain. I know you guys are gonna love it. I know he enjoys it. He actually wanted to be on the album. You know, I asked him a while ago, and he was like, "Nah, bro, I'm good. And then he came to me one day. He's like, "Yo, let me hop up on that, son." And I'm like, "Hell yeah, here you go." So, you know, he's on there. Man, go over there, show him some love. I know YouTube ain't pushing out his notifications, but I'm actually meaning to talk to him about that. He's probably gonna see this before I talk to him now. But yeah, man, shit gets silly. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. You guys are gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy it. Scatterbrained, the 5th fucking album, boys. If I'm being honest with you, I didn't think we could do it. I really didn't. I did not think that we were gonna get to this point. I genuinely thought it was over. I thought it was over a couple times. I thought it was over after the remix failed. I thought it was over after Secrets. I thought it was definitely gonna be over after Horror Scene. And it wasn't, man. We just keep fucking bouncing back up, and God, man, I fucking love that. I love that so much. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy for all the love and support we have gotten and we've gained, and it really does truly mean a lot to me. And you know, I even know that it means a lot to Tyga as well, because you know he's a part of the history, you know, and I'm gonna keep it real. I want him to be a part of this just as much as me. You know, he's a part of this album. You know, whether he didn't make a shit ton of beats on here, that don't matter. He's still a part of it. You know, he came back for the 5th fucking album. You know, it means a lot. You know, he made 2 beats. You know, he made one and then made one with me. But dude, it means a lot. It really was a dream come true when it came to that, because I did want him to come back at one point, and it's awesome. And you know, it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. I love you guys. You guys fucking mean the world to me. You guys mean the world to Tyga, and you guys mean the world to Ryan Beats. Fucking love you. Scatterbrained. March 5th. Scatterbrained. Exclusive edition. March 7th. I love you. And I'll see you when the album drops. 12 p.m. Be there. I love you. I'm out.